Hey everyone. So here's a question I came across on Quora. The question is, what makes Captain America considered a god among men? Is it just because he has the super soldier serum, or are there other factors? And I wanted to read what I thought was uh, the best answer. It comes from Nathan Stanish. Zemo indirectly summed it up in Captain America Civil War when he first meets Cap face to face. And if you remember, he sees him and he says, "I've thought about nothing else for more than a year. I studied you, I followed you, but now that you're standing here before me, I realize there's a bit of green in the blue of your eyes. How nice to find a flaw." Even Zemo, a man dead set on tearing the Avengers apart for their callousness in the aftermath of Sokovia, could not find a flaw in Captain America. To the outside world, he's just that perfect. And Zemo is not the only one to find it frustrating, right? Cap is a pure moral paragon, willing to sacrifice anything and everything for what he believes in. He never gives up, he never gives in, and he always gives his best. This is where you get that line, "I can do this all day," which I've actually created another video about. You can see it here. Of course, the super soldier serum plays a big role in his persona, but he had that fighting spirit even as a wimpy kid from Brooklyn, right? Nobody would see that and call him a god, right? But that was just who he was. It wasn't until he gained his powers and amplified every bit of courage already inside of him that people took notice. It turned out the poster child of American patriotism was more than just a symbol of his country. He was everything his country wished it could be. But he wasn't always a great public speaker, right? Captain America started being used in those the more you know type speeches for kids in high school, but he wasn't always like that, right? That kind of perfection can either be inspiring, but it can also be grating. And some of his coworkers tended to sit on one side of that camp or the other, at least when they first meet him. Iron Man is a great example of this. Iron Man found the perfection grating from Captain America because it turned out that he was every bit as amazing as Howard Stark, his father, made him out to be. And for Tony, who never lived up to his father's standards, that was frustrating, at least at first. There's more insecurity in those eyes than Tony lets on. Thor found this perfection inspiring and recognized Cap as a warrior of courage and dedication. And when Cap finally lifts Mjolnir, there was no jealousy on Thor's part, only pride. He knew Cap was worthy. He kind of always knew it. That's the pride of a true friend. So zoom out and think about this from an American perspective. World War II holds a special place in many Americans' hearts because it was relatively recent. It's by far the biggest conflict we'd ever been a part of, and a bigger undertaking for the entire country. Everybody took part, from the men who served in the military to the women who volunteered as Red Cross nurses to the rest of Americans who lived under rations. As such, symbols become very powerful in the war, especially people. Franklin Delano Roosevelt felt larger than life for many Americans, thanks to those iconic fireside chats and the confidence he gave Americans in his 12 years as president. That's right, 12 years as president. Now imagine the power a man like Captain America had, a superhuman who flew in the face of Hitler's superior race, quote unquote, as he looked Aryan, but rejected every lie of Nazi philosophy. Already, he was a symbol bigger than any person, especially after dying in service. Then, out of the blue, he rises from the dead to once again become a hero. When a man fights and dies as the symbol of hope for his country and then rises again to save his country all over again, is it any wonder some people saw him as a god? The fact is, he was just as perfect in person, only raised by the hype. Even if Cap wasn't so upstanding in real life, he'd still be a beloved figure of World War II and the modern Avengers, a nostalgic callback for the older generations, and a powerful inspiration for younger generations. So what's not to love? If Captain America was in our world, we'd treat him the same. To America, and later the world at large, Captain America was a god among men. To their knowledge, he died the way he lived, fighting for what he believed in, no matter the cost. Little did they know, in the final years, Cap finally got the peace that he deserved. Even a god among men needs time to rest. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed that answer. And we'll talk again soon. Don't forget to like and subscribe.